Yeah, this is Colomberie, La Colomberie, District 1 St Helier. Used to be a buzzing little commercial centre, used to absolutely buzz in the summer season. It was alive at night when you used to walk down here. But lots of these shops, cafes are really struggling. Really struggling. Lots of shops coming up to let. And we're going to talk to this one. This guy's packing in, he's been here 12 years. He's retiring from this shop. We'll go and have a chat to him.
Look at him, it's probably better view.
Yeah. And with this is Tony, who's the shop we've just been looking at from the outside. You're closing down the shop after 12 years in business. Why is that? What's happening here?
Lack of business. I gave my notice 12 months ago. I could see what was coming. The last 18 months have been particularly difficult. In the early days I was very much tourist related business with a mix of local, but not many locals come up to this end of Colomberie anyhow, albeit we made moves when I first moved here to have the pavements widened from Snow Hill up to here to try and make access a bit easier for people. That didn't seem to work, but it's just generally each year decline. Some of the traders around here have been here for 30 years, some of the jewellers, and they're having a terrible time.
Have they got leases they can't get out of? Do they own
They actually own the shops.
They own the shops.
They used to lease them, and they bought them 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody bought the thing, but it's just general up here. I mean, people do take these shops on, but they don't seem to last very long, move on again. So there's a greater movement of tenants these days. But in the year that I've given my notice here, I've had one person to come and have a look, and they've walked away. So I don't know how long this might be empty or whatever, but in this climate I don't think people are jumping on board as quickly as they used to with the
Metropole Hotel just up the road there is going to be closed, redevelopment, so we're told.
Well, they put plans in and had plans passed, but they're in no hurry.
Right.
I mean, there's enough apartments around empty at the moment as there's anyhow.
But that must influence people taking on a lease here. They will say, well, that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, but on the other side of it, I've said to people, if you've got 200 apartments there, possibly 400 residents 12 months of the year that are going to be walking past here. At the moment, the only really local footfall is people going to work and coming back.
Right.
And half the time they don't even realise we're here. They're sort of blinkered in the journey to work, and then again blinkered again on the journey to get home again.
In the local newspaper tonight, the JEP, it's talking about the 5% reduction in the economy, finance down, but the surprising thing is everybody says the great agriculture 14% down. I mean, the figures there speak for themselves, really, don't they? The whole economy is on the down.
Yeah.
And the other big aspect which must affect shops like this, the peripheral shops, Colomberie, the other peripherals, is the trend to want to put things on the waterfront. Is that part of the problem, do you think?
Well, the message I get from people is they don't particularly like the waterfront anyway. It's dark, cold, windy, not a lot of choice, and you know, if I had all the monies in the world available to me, that would be the last place I'd go. No, it's still the town centre. One thing I will say is what is changing in the retail market a lot, particularly for small businesses, these farm shops, out of town shopping, which are, in my mind, is Jersey's version of these shopping centres in the UK. Free parking, cup of tea and a scone, and get a mix of shopping, local butcher, baker, candlestick maker.
Well, of course, the old B&Q at St John was originally an agricultural store, and it became B&Q just like that, with no change of planning permission. And these things are evolving, as you say. And they've also got car parking out of town, convenient.
I mean, parking's a nightmare. I had a meeting with the constable recently and the chief traffic warden about the state of play with the way these wardens go around bullying people. I've noted certain occasions where they ignore some people and book others, but as usual I get sort of bland answers. They've got an answer for all these things. I got 2 tickets alone yesterday. I got one of my wife, and we're trying to empty the shop. And I'd notified the traffic warden head one that, you know, there's going to be vans and things coming and going emptying. So instead of putting on the precinct outside like I've done today, where I'm safe because I can keep an eye on it, I put it around the corner. I put a scratch card on, but it fell onto the flip side and see my business card is in it, full of junk that I've been emptying. It's on the list that I'm emptying the shop. Bang, a ticket. Same with my wife, Micah. But anyway, but I basically said to the constable and to this chap, well, in 5 years' time you won't need any traffic wardens because you're chasing out the traders, you're chasing away the shoppers, because they'll end up going to these out-of-town places.
Some places, some towns, obviously people look nostalgically at France, they seem to be able to mix traffic with shopping. They seem to, do you think, is that realistic here? Has been pedestrianised? And
well, I gave them a plan to reopen this road outside here again, talking to the traders that were here in time past, 26, 7 years, whatever it was. You know, they'd be happy to see traffic coming through here again. At least then drivers would be aware that their premises were there and what they sell. So I gave a plan to Richard Mackenzie and the constable to block off Grenville Street here, make it two-sided parking, make Little Green Street into two-way traffic, with traffic coming back through here again. And whether it work or not, I don't know, but at least it was a start for discussions. But I haven't even had the acknowledgement of my...
Again, lots of parts of Nick's district, District 1, I've got the same sort of feeling they're in decline. Is there anything that realistically can this area be saved? Can the Colomberie be rejuvenated, or is it too late to think?
Is it ever too late? Well, you don't know till you try. I've asked for buskers up here, I've asked for entertainment, send young kids up. We tried it once and I used to give them a £5 to stay a bit longer at lunchtime, but they didn't make much money. The workers are hurrying to get their sandwich and whatever, but you know, unless you try these things, you don't know. But it's just these secondary locations are normally a bit better. You've got other things apart from the UK major stores, and like the stuff I've been doing all these years, nobody else does it.
You'd think the advantage of the lower rents here would compensate for the very high rents in King Street, because they are enormously high.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to work that way, does it?
Well, 12 years ago it was fine. The footfall was there and everything was, you know, better, but it's just been declining. It's lesser tourists with less money in their pocket, and they're looking for absolute bargains.
Did you do much export trade? Because obviously you're selling things, you're printing things, or was it just local trade?
I have done some on my website with my teddy bears, but then again, people are under the illusion you just set up a website and it's easy as that, but there's a great cost to that. It's all about marketing and stuff anyway, so but no, it's I do bits and bobs from regular clients I've got. But I'm just going to work from home now and go out, knock on doors and see if I can bring a bit of local business in and see where I go from there. But at least my costs are now under control. You have the benefit of a business where you don't actually necessarily need the public to come in. You can operate, you can build that side of the business. Which I did when we first started this business. Right. I had a partner at the time, he looked after the shop. I went out and knocked doors, which I'm pretty good at, and brought the business in, so I'm going to revert back to that. You're not a newcomer to business, you've been in various businesses over the years. Well, licensed trade stroke nightclubs particularly for 20 odd years, yeah. I mean, even that's struggled, hasn't it, in the last few years? Oh, yeah. Well, price of booze, kids are out of work. If they are working, they're on minimum wage, they haven't got the money to go out. Somebody said to me this morning, the removals chap, his wife went out, 6 of them, bought a round of drinks, 24 quid somewhere. So, you know, the kids aren't going to do it, and I feel sorry for them because they're at an age where they should be out enjoying themselves. Not totally alcohol related, of course, but, you know, but they're being restricted. And you've had political aspirations yourself. You stood for the States. You say your father was in the States. Yeah. You come from therefore a political background, political thoughts in your heads. What do you view of it politically? What's your take on it? Well, it's generally like everybody else, too many eggs in one basket with finance. And I always relate a little story, if you've got a moment, that taking tourism when it was our boom industry, 70s, 80s. My wife's a singer. When she came over here, 82, there was 14 cabaret shows on. Go to a different one every night. Now there's none. And it's just been a decline of but if you'd have looked at a crystal ball then, with all these coaches buzzing around, magical mystery tours, cabaret there, pub visit there, you know, tourism advertising for rooms, hotels are full, have you got a room spare, which my parents used to do, get some extra cash. And as a child I remember all these aunties and becoming aunties all coming over. gone. Now, I say the same of finance now. If you look at a crystal ball of the boom days, then we'd have said there's no way tourism would end up as it is now, but it has.
Well,
So
the talk was then how to reduce tourism. People were always complaining about the number of hire cars on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
The strange thing is the population has steadily increased over the years. It's now 92,000 people.
Yeah.
There must be an inherent local demand for entertainment,
Yeah.
and you can have concerts like Jersey Live, and that can get 12,000 young people turn out. Why is it? Why are all these other activities so much in decline? It is very puzzling.
Well,
Isn't it?
it's the last major venue my wife worked at was in Unna Park. She did about 10 seasons there. But in the end they had to pack it in because people wouldn't pay the ticket prices, because the top of the bills effectively killed it. You know, the top TV stars, it wasn't the lower end of the scale of my wife entertaining, it was and then they just couldn't get it, and then people weren't spending the money on the ancillaries of food and drink and everything because of the price. So that's why that went backwards.
In this area, like Colomberie, do you speak much to local traders? Do you get the feeling you talk about you've got buskers attempts before.
Yeah.
That's a joint effort with other traders, trying to put some money into it?
Well, it was just trying to get local kids. One of the art centres, if they've got any kids on their books, tell them to come up here, they can practice.
Did tourism or the equivalent of tourism help to promote that? Were they encouraging?
I didn't go down that far, I forget who I spoke to at the time, but a lot of the traders here have given up a lot, really. I try to be optimistic and come up with ideas and drive them along, but a lot of them have just got to the stage now, it's beyond redemption, I suppose.
It's a case we want the little glass bowl to see what the future's going to hold. It doesn't look very optimistic, does it?
Yeah, it's and with this winter coming up, it's going to be a very, very tough.
We'll leave it there. Thanks much indeed.
You're welcome.